Hey everybody, and welcome back to the Nine Frames Podcast. It is Monday, February 19th, 2024. This is episode 78, and I am Bill Whalen.
And I'm Mike Whalen.
Be sure to catch us as always on YouTube at Nine Frames Podcast. Our Spotify is Nine Frames, and our X is at Nine Frames Pod. Please follow us on there. Subscribe, like, and share if you enjoy the content.
Yeah, it's been a week since we last made an episode. It's because it was a pretty slow, I'd say Tuesday through Friday, and then it kind of picked up a little bit over the weekend. There were some signings throughout the week, but we didn't feel like it was enough to give a full episode.
Yeah, now we are loaded up on deals, and there are some funny deals in here. A lot of guys with minor league deals getting major league camp invites. We got a couple pitchers who aren't going to pitch next year getting contracts that are pretty nice, and we got a big DH off the market to talk about.
Yeah, we'll hop right on into it.
And we will get right into that news. There is a lot of it. The first bit, I am a little disappointed to announce as a Met fan, as Jorge Soler is going to the San Francisco Giants on a 3-year contract worth $42 million deal.
Yeah, it is a little bit disappointing, but once you see that it's a 3-year contract for nearly $50 million, I feel a little bit better. I didn't really want to be locked into Jorge Soler for 3 years.
Yeah, he's getting $14 million a year AAV on that, so I understand that's a pretty hefty contract for a guy who is getting up there in age now. He's been around the league for a while, and
he's not particularly, he can't really field at all.
Yeah,
he's a DH.
His versatility is just that. He is a DH, so I understand the Mets not wanting to do that. But I do also like San Francisco bringing in that big bat in the middle of their lineup.
Yeah, San Francisco hasn't had a 30-home run season from somebody in their lineup since 2004 when it was Barry Bonds. So
yeah, this guy's pretty likely to do that.
He could do it, yeah, for sure. He could break that streak his first year there. He's a strong dude. He's going to hit a lot of bombs, but I don't know. $42 million in 3 years is a lot for him, I think.
He just opted out of a $9 million player option, so he secured $5 million more a year for a whole 3 years, so great upgrade for him. He bet on himself, and he wins that bet.
Yeah, he had a great year. He hit 36 homers. It was probably his second-best year of his career besides the year he hit 2019 for the Kansas City Royals when he had 48 home runs and he played every single game.
Yeah, really impressive. But last year, which is also wild, was his first appearance at the All-Star Game. Crazy he didn't make it in 2019.
Yeah, the All-Star Game is kind of weird in baseball because he could have had a really slow first half, but then after the All-Star Game, if he hits 20 home runs out of his 48, still that'd be 28.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's hard to see how he had a 48 homer season and didn't have a decent enough first half to make it to that game.
Yeah, and the Giants also probably like him because he's proven that he can do it in the playoffs, being a former World Series MVP with the Braves back in 2021 when they won.
Yeah, in my opinion, this was the top DH option, and he is now off the board going to the San Francisco Giants, going to be firmly in the middle of that lineup. Former World Series MVP, he's a 2-time World Series champion. He was more of a role player when he was with the Cubs, so he's proved that he can compete on the biggest stages in any role that you put him in.
Yeah, I think it was a 1A, 1B with Soler and Martinez for the DH, and I think this is a good move for the Giants. They've been missing out on players left and right when they want them, and it's been reported they want them, so it's nice to see that they could get some power in the middle of that lineup finally.
Yeah, those Giants still staying active too. I have heard their name in bids on Matt Chapman and Blake Snell, the current Cy Young in the NL, so they're probably still going to have some moves to go.
Yeah, we'll see what they do.
We'll move it on over to the NL Central now, and one of those pitchers that will not be pitching next year, but he does get a 2-year deal here, Brandon Woodruff, going back to Milwaukee. This is a weird one. We talked about how he was non-tendered and released basically in November. This deal's unknown money right now, but what do you think?
I think it's kind of, like you said, it's weird. Again, the theme of the offseason is what are the Brewers doing? Clearly, it's going to be a good deal. I wanted the Mets to do something like this for Brandon Woodruff because it's worth the shot. We've seen he's a solid arm. He's only 31 years old, and he owns a career 3.10 ERA and a 105 WHIP. So, in what 680 and a third innings. That's not a small sample size. The guy has a nearly under 3 ERA and 700 innings. So
yeah, made 115 starts over those 7 years with only the Milwaukee Brewers, who he will be staying with the next time he pitches.
Yeah, I could see that he probably has emotional ties to Milwaukee. We saw it in the playoffs when he found out that he was injured and wasn't going to be able to pitch. He was literally in tears.
There is the full reality that his life and his home is there.
Yeah, he just didn't want to uproot, and if the option was available, why not take it?
Super interested to see what the money actually is, because he was being paid $10.8 million last season before they non-tendered him due to that shoulder injury. Yeah, he got surgery.
Yeah, I think he'll be all right, and I think this is a good deal for them, just especially after trading Corbin Burns last week. So they need some stability. If not next year, the year after, I think they'll still have Freddie Peralta under contract in 25, and then Woodruff will hopefully be back. Maybe he could make a comeback this year if he's ahead of schedule a little bit, but if not, they'll have him for next year.
Yeah, we'll have to keep our eye on what the money is on that deal and let you know when we do. Another deal we do know the money of, though, and another pitcher who probably won't be pitching this year, he might, though. Liam Hendriks, the reigning AL Comeback Player of the Year, is headed to the Boston Red Sox on a 2-year, $10 million deal.
Yeah, it's nice to see Liam Hendriks get $5 million a year at this point, considering that he really hasn't pitched much. He's gone through hell the last couple of years dealing with cancer and beating it. I mean, he just won Comeback Player of the Year last year for pitching, 5 games, 5 innings?
He pitched in 5 games there.
Because he got hurt again. I mean, he's really gone through a lot of turmoil, so it's nice to see a team kind of show that they'll take a chance on him still.
Yeah, he ended up getting reconstructive elbow surgery last summer. There is a about 15-month recovery for that procedure, which means he may pitch in the 2024 season, but it would be late. So the payoff for this deal would be in 2025, much like Brandon Woodruff.
Hey, if the Sox are in the playoff hunt down the stretch and he can come back, that might be a nice piece for them.
It really might. This is a guy who is really great at missing bats when he's pitching. So we'll see if he can get back on that mound. Like you said, he survived stage 4 non-Hodgkin lymphoma. It was diagnosed in
Stage 4 is nuts.
It is nuts. And he was diagnosed in fall of 2022. He was pitching again in the big leagues by May of 2023, and that's why he's Comeback Player of the Year.
Yeah, hard not to root for him. I mean, well-deserved for the award. You can't give it to anybody else.
He looks to make another big comeback because, like you said, he pitches just 5 games and then tears his UCL. He gets that surgery, but in 13 seasons, he is a 3-time All-Star, and he's actually received Cy Young votes after 2 seasons.
Yeah, one of the most passionate guys, too. We've seen him with the mic'd-up clips cursing at the All-Star game and shit. He's a guy that's easy to root for, and I'm sure most American baseball fans, baseball fans in general, are just going to be rooting for him. Not Yankee fans, though, I don't think.
No, probably not. We'll have to see how he does, because he did lead the AL in saves in just 2021 with 38 saves, so if he can get back to that once his arm heals up, we'll see.
Yeah, rooting for him.
Now we'll move it on over to the Philadelphia Phillies and super utility man Whit Merrifield. They are in an agreement on a 1-year, $8 million deal with a club option for the same exact $8 million.
I had some, Mandela effect here where I already thought that Whit Merrifield had signed earlier this offseason. I guess it didn't happen?
Yeah, you thought with the Brewers, right?
Yeah, I thought he was already signed to the Brewers, but I guess he wasn't. So
must have been a rumor where he was going to sign with the Brewers, and then that didn't end up happening. I like this deal for the Phillies a lot. This is a very versatile guy.
Yep. I was just on the last episode preaching that everybody needs a guy like this that can play multiple positions. He's been an all-star doing it. He's won a batting title, right?
I'm not sure, but I don't have that down here. He is 34 years old, coming off his 3rd All-Star selection last year. He hit .272, .318 on base, and .382 slugging at 11 homers and 67 RBI. He was 26 for 36 in stolen bases.
Maybe it wasn't a batting title that he had, but I see that you have down that he led the American League in stolen bases twice.
He led the American League in stolen bases 3 times, and he led the American League in hits twice, yeah.
Oh, that's what it was. He led the league in hits. So he might not have had the average lead, but he led the league in hits.
Yeah, which is debatably more important, obviously.
It's very impressive, especially in the league that he was in.
Yeah,
he was in a league with Jose Altuve, Mike Trout, Shohei Ohtani. He was beating these guys out.
Yeah, he's $8 million for that guy. I love that deal. It is unfortunate that the Phillies are the one to make it as a Met fan, personally.
Definitely. Yep.
But, I mean, this is a guy who plays third base, second base, first base. I think he could play short, maybe.
He can play the outfield
And I think
corner.
he can play the outfield corners as well. So, I mean, there's not much more versatility than that. And if you're getting a 272 batting average and 26 stolen bases, this is just a guy you want on your team.
Yeah, it fully feels like a guy that could cook the Mets next year. Hopefully they limit the damage from him.
Mm-hmm. Agree.
Build up that further strengthen an already very good lineup in Philadelphia.
We will move it on over from the east to the west, and from the, I guess, infield. He plays everywhere, but this is the outfield here. Randall Grichuk is signing with the National League champion Arizona Diamondbacks. They're on agreements on a 1-year, $2 million contract. That includes a mutual option for 2025.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he's going to be one of the starters or if he's going to be the fourth outfielder, maybe a DH option. I like Grichuk. I think he's a good fielder for sure, and he's got some pop. So it's a nice ad for just $2 million. I mean, why wouldn't you? It's a low risk, potential high reward deal. I like when teams do it.
The mutual option that they have is worth $6 million. So this is a big bet on yourself kind of deal. Because if Grichuk has a good year and he wants to stay in Arizona, $6 million is also a good deal for both of these guys, the guy and the team as well.
Yeah, he had a little bit of a rough year last year, bouncing around. I mean, he started with the Rockies, then he got traded to the Angels in late July. He hit 308 with 8 home runs and 27 RBI for the Rockies. We could maybe give that a little bit of the Coors effect with the 308.
It looks that way.
Yeah, because when he went to the Angels, he hit just 216. But he still did hit 8 home runs for them with 17 RBI.
So I mean, he
16 home runs.
Only played 10 less games, got 10 less RBI, but that batting average is down 100 points, like you said. A lot of that could be attributed to that big outfield and the Coors air.
Yeah, still, I mean, nearly having a 20-piece is nothing to be ashamed of.
Yeah, and Arizona's got a big outfield as well. He might like hitting in that ballpark.
It's a nice addition for not a lot of money. Teams need guys like this.
Agree. We will now talk about some minor league contracts with major league spring training invites, and we will talk Mets baseball at first here. This is the most natural to us, as this is what we watch the most of every year.
Definitely, and they're going to bring back Luke Voit, who was a member of the Syracuse team last year briefly after he started the season with the Brewers. And they're also going to bring in Ji-Man Choi. So a couple first base / DH options.
Yeah, you can see that that's what they're going for here, kind of making a competitive nature in the spring camp for those DH jobs.
And you need depth, and these guys are both guys that have played in the majors that add depth.
Ji-Man Choi's deal is a split contract worth $3.5 million if he makes the club. But if he doesn't, then obviously he gets that minor league deal, which is probably league minimum if I had to guess.
And that's probably the way it's going to go. I don't foresee Ji-Man Choi making the opening day roster unless he has a crazy spring, which is fully possible.
Had a really rough year last year. Slashed 163, 239, 385 with 6 homers and 13 RBI and 104 at-bats with Pittsburgh and San Diego. He's competing with DJ Stewart to be the lefty DH, and as of right now, I'm taking Stewart.
Yeah, I would also take DJ Stewart. I mean, he was pretty solid last year at the major league level for the Mets. So
in 2019, Choi hit 19 home runs with 63 RBIs, and he did slash 261, 363, and 459. So if he could show that in spring,
yeah. But what team was he with?
He was with the Rays.
There you go.
So we will see. Luke Voit is the righty option, and like you said, we did have him last year after he was released by the Brewers in June. He's 33 years old, and he slashed 264, 415, and 643 with 14 homers and 35 RBIs with AAA Syracuse for us last year. We ended up releasing him in August.
Yeah, former American League home run champion in the shortened season. I believe he hit 20 or something like 21.
Yeah, it was 20. It's 20 or 22.
It's 60 games.
Like
so
yeah,
he had a power surge in the shortened season, winning the American League home run crown. But he hasn't really done much since then, which is the thing. He's been bouncing around from team to team. He was on the Padres, and then he was on the Nationals. Then he was on the Brewers last year, and it just didn't work out. So they bought him out, and he signed with the Mets in the minor leagues. Never made his way up, and then they ended up releasing him in August, and now he's back this year. So we'll see if they actually give him a chance this year, because I never really understood last year why he never got a shot.
Yeah, they needed a righty at some point, and they just didn't give him the shot, didn't give him the call, and ended up releasing him in August, actually. He was really good with the Yankees from 2018 to 2021, and he'll be competing with Vientos for that righty DH role.
Yeah, I'm more pleased with the Luke Voigt deal than the Choi one. I feel like they overpaid Choi a little bit potentially, but
That's if he makes it, so.
the thing is he's not going to make it is what I believe now, honestly. I didn't even know that was a thing until right now, so it makes more sense.
Yeah, we will move it on over to the AL East now, where we're talking about former Mets. Eduardo Escobar and Daniel Vogelbach will be going on minor league deals there with major league invites.
I'm just happy that I'll never have to see Daniel Vogelbach wear a Mets uniform again. Probably my least favorite baseball player of all time.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of him either. Definitely happy to see him go. I did not feel like that was a useful roster spot for us last year at all.
Eduardo Escobar, though,
Missed.
I like that
Definitely
one.
missed.
That's going to be a good deal for the Blue Jays. The more what would you say, fond I am of the two. I definitely was a fan of Eduardo Escobar when they signed him. So I think he'll bring versatility to the Blue Jays. He could play a couple of different positions.
Yeah, he used to play shortstop. Now he plays mainly second and third, but that's a lot of versatility to bring to your team right there. I could see him breaking camp for sure. I'm not sure if Vogelbach will end up breaking camp.
Yeah, and Escobar, he back in his day. Go ahead.
He's had 520 home run seasons, and he's got a career 735 OPS in 13 seasons. So that's an impressive career for him, and this is a guy you kind of just want on your team.
He had a year in Arizona a couple years. I think it was 2017 where he drove in over 115 runs or something like that. He was a solid bat for the D-backs and Brewers. I mean, he struggled from time to time with the Mets, but he also showed flashes of when he gets hot, he gets hot.
Yeah, speaking of struggle, last year Vogelbach hit 175 in May and 200 in June as his OPS dropped to 690 in the first half of the year. In early June, he sat for 9 days for mental health breaks. So, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see if he's able to regain any kind of footing.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to be too harsh on the guy, but I don't understand why teams keep giving him a chance.
Yeah, I don't.
He's
see
not good.
I struggle to see what he brings to the baseball game.
He doesn't even swing.
That someone else can't do. Yeah,
he can't play the field. He can't run. He doesn't swing the bat. He's just going up there. He's a big guy looking for a walk.
Yeah,
give me a break, dude.
It's worth noting that in his first 55 games with the Mets in 2022, he kind of became a fan favorite with some as he hit 6 home runs. He had a 393 on base with an 830 OPS in the stretch of 2022. I guess helping us make that playoff run. So
yeah, the Mets fans have a weird obsession with just loving mid players that just shouldn't be loved, like Wilmer Flores.
I'm a fan of Wilmer.
Yeah, I don't understand it. He wasn't good. I mean, he's become much better since leaving the Mets for the Giants.
I think when you look back, he was better for the Mets than you think.
I mean, I don't think he was that good, and Daniel Vogelbach was one of the worst baseball players I've ever watched. Yeah, I don't think he should even be near the major leagues.
I won't argue with you on Vogelbach at all. Just because a guy is good for 50 games does not mean that
he could catch a stray right now. Darren Ruff fucking sucks too.
Well, yeah, no, I can't actually argue for Ruff at all. That guy needed to go much sooner than he got a longer leash than he should have for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think Vogelbach's gonna contribute much to the Blue Jays, but Escobar will be a nice deal.
I agree. We will move it on over to the White Sox now. We're having a pretty sneaky good offseason, I would say. They got Mike Moustakas on a minor league deal with an invite. 2023, he batted .247 with 12 homers and 48 RBI in 112 games between the Rockies and Angels.
Yeah, the White Sox are going the sneaky signing underrated and kind of guys past their prime players, you'd say. They're taking a chance on injured guy or previously injured guys like Mike Soroka.
Right.
I like what they've done, like you said. I think they got Martin Maldonado is going to be a big help behind the plate in that young staff to help develop them. Mike Moustakas, we'll see. I mean, he's bounced around. It was another guy, man. I thought he was going to be like a cornerstone for the Royals, and since leaving the Royals, he's just bounced around.
He played his first 7-ish seasons with the Royals, like you said, and he won the World Series with them in 2015.
Felt like he was going to be a big part of that organization for a long time.
I guess 7 years is nothing to scoff at.
Yeah.
They're calling you a veteran by the time you hit 5.
He's just not a guy that I had becoming a journeyman, I guess.
That's what happened in the late years of his career here for sure. So, I mean, he ended up playing for Milwaukee and Cincinnati here. The Brewers as well, right?
Yeah, Milwaukee, Cincinnati. He's played
Colorado,
for Colorado.
the Angels.
Yeah.
Wow, man, he has been all over.
Yeah.
He is a 3-time All-Star, and he's a career 247 hitter with 215 homers and 683 RBI. So we'll see if he can get break camp there, which I kind of think he's got a pretty good chance of doing. So
He's got a shot, and I always root for Moose. Moose was he's a fun guy to watch.
Mm-hmm. Now we will talk about a comeback story. This is an attempted comeback here. 2021 All-Star starter Jesse Winker signs a minor league deal with Washington Nationals, and he'll try to break camp. He has had a rough couple of years since that All-Star bid in 2021. Last year, he batted 199 with 1 home run in 197 plate appearances for the Milwaukee Brewers.
Yeah, he was really bad the year before that for the Mariners as well. He's coming off 2 pretty horrific years since his All-Star appearance. So, I mean, the Nationals were a last place team.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't really hurt to try to get the most out of a guy like this, because
I think it's a great move from
back in
Washington.
2021, he hit 305 for the Cincinnati Reds with 24 homers and 71 RBI while becoming an All-Star for the first time in his career. So he struggled since, but it's been 3 years, 2 years. We'll see if he can recapture.
Yeah, I guess we'll see if that Washington coaching staff can get something to him, get him mechanically right, and see if he can break camp with them and make the team.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, it hasn't been the same since leaving the Reds, but if he reclaims that glory, man, Washington just got a stud. Now we will talk about a couple players who are officially moving their position full-time. Xander Bogaerts will officially be a full-time second baseman for the San Diego Padres.
The Padres are ridiculously insane, bro. They took their shortstop and moved him to right field for a guy they signed to an 11-year deal to have at shortstop. And now they're moving their shortstop to second base so that the second baseman can move back to shortstop.
Yeah, I guess they're just deciding what works for them. Maybe
the Tatis move, I'll give them. That was a great move. He became a platinum glover.
Mm-hmm.
So he wasn't particularly the best shortstop, and he goes to right field. Everyone was clowning him, and he became a great right fielder. So,
have you heard anything about, have you heard comments from Xander? Does he like playing second? Does he?
I mean, there had to be a conversation for
if he prefers
he's got
it.
10 years left.
Yeah, what did they pay him? $280 million.
Yeah. So I mean,
that's an expensive second baseman.
There had to be conversations had beforehand with him if he was okay with this, and because they're not gonna just move Ha-Sung Kim to shortstop and throw him to second base without asking him when he's locked in.
Because the thing about it is, a lot of people reacted like, "What are they doing when they move Tatis to right field?" But that was something that he wanted to do.
They were doing it for Xander because they signed him.
But it is something that he wanted to do as well, and he's thrived out there.
Definitely more than thrived. He was the best fielder in the National League last year.
So with Xander being a full-time second baseman now, man, he could be one of the best.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, it could be a benefit as well. The Padres, I mean, they knew what they were doing with Tatis, so you can't really question it here.
Mm-hmm. Another very interesting move here. Bryce Harper, will be moving to first base full-time, and he said, and I quote, he doesn't think he will play right field again.
I didn't have that in the cards, honestly. I thought he was going to move back to right field after his elbow fully healed, but I guess him playing first base, he kind of fell in love with it, maybe.
He was a solid first baseman defensively, honestly.
Yeah, he looked pretty solid
when he's in the outfield, he goes real hard, and he kind of bangs himself up sometimes.
And I think he's probably realizing it's more... It's smarter for him to move over to first base /DH and save the arm and focus on hitting, because when he's healthy and in that lineup, man, he is an MVP caliber player. He's won 2 of them.
He did just come back from that surgery on that arm, so I mean, yeah, why not give it a rest? Play first base. They don't throw too much. Maybe just turn into double player.
And now we're gonna, for the next 10 years, we're gonna have to think of Bryce Harper as one of the best first basemen in baseball. How weird is that?
Maybe a little longer than that as well, as Bryce Harper says he wants to sign an extension with Philadelphia past his current contract once it's done.
He wants to play into his 40s.
That is very long looking forward, though. He's looking 10 years in the future.
2036.
And already saying that he's going to want to sign. I don't think it's really easy to know what he's going to want to do there, because what if he gets banged up a couple times and now his body's hurting a lot and he's got all that money? I don't know. We'll see. But as of right now, Bryce Harper wants to play into his 40s and in Philadelphia. He kind of is that city right now for them.
Yeah, that's what was very apparent when they signed him to that 13-year deal. He was going to become the face of the Philadelphia Phillies, and he seems to have thrived in it. He's won an MVP with them, took them to the World Series, and then they've been in the NLCS last year. So I'd say it's been a successful deal for both sides to this point. So I don't blame him for wanting to stay.
Philly loves Harper, and Harper loves Philly, so keep it going. Now we will move on over to a couple of interesting little sub-points I saw. The first is the Orioles are interested in trading for Jesus Luzardo from the Miami Marlins. We have seen that they just had Kyle Bradish go down.
Yeah, it makes sense that they're going to try to fill a gap right there. Luzardo is a good left-handed option. It's interesting that they're trying to fill a right-handed void with a left-handed option. But if Luzardo's available for the right price, I could see him thriving on the Orioles.
Yeah, I mean, starters are starters, right? If you could throw a guy out there and you can order them lefty-righty, which, I mean, I think they easily could.
Yeah, but matchups matter.
Yeah, with their current rotation, though, I think they could use a lefty.
Yeah, you got to remember the lineups they're facing. The Yankees with Judge, Stanton, LeMahieu, Torres.
The Blue Jays with Vladden and Bichette.
Yeah, like Springer, like a left-handed pitcher could be pretty tough.
Yeah, actually, an interesting point that I didn't consider. A lefty does have a tough time in the AL
But
East.
like I said, Luzardo has looked really good the last couple of years, so I wouldn't hate it.
They said the report is that they're interested in trading Luzardo, but I'm not sure that a team like the Miami Marlins are interested in trading Luzardo away.
I don't see why they would.
Yeah, I certainly wouldn't be.
Yeah, I mean, I think he should be the number 2 behind Alcantara this year. But
yeah, I mean, me personally, if I'm the O's, I would love to trade for him, and if I'm the Marlins, I'm not trading him.
Mm-hmm.
We will talk about this real quick because I don't want to just keep adding to the dump on. Yeah. But we'll talk about the new Fanatics jerseys.
I think we're both going to have the same opinion.
I think everybody has the same opinion. And it's pretty wild because most of the time when something new comes out, like these new jerseys, some people are like, nah, they're all right. They're good.
But most people rave.
I have seen like 99. I don't think I've seen a couple of what seems like paid ads. And then everybody else is saying these are awful.
Yeah, like I understand what the players are trying to say, like Hayward and Trout. That
they
like
feel cool.
It feels more comfortable, but they look like shit.
Yeah, you gotta make the letters on the back bigger. I mean, why even really change them too much?
I don't know.
Put your logo on it.
It's Fanatics, man. Everything Fanatics touch, they ruin.
Yeah, I mean, I guess just feeling...
They've messed up the NHL jerseys already, and now they're going to do it to baseball, too.
You feel like you have to put your own personal touch on it, and I think you're doing too much here.
They always do. It's just, why, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
I'm wondering if this gets reversed by opening day with how much
outrage.
There's been so much, because if it doesn't, it's going to be crazy to watch them play a full season in these shitty jerseys, man.
It's just like, why are the numbers so small, and why are they like rainbow curved instead of being straight nameplates? I don't understand what's going on.
I couldn't imagine my name being arched on the back of a jersey.
Yeah, and it's like for guys like Verlander, he has like 8 letters in his name.
I don't know if you saw Stephen Vogt's jersey.
It's so small.
Gosh, it looks like VOGT.
And the numbers and the letters are like oddly spaced, like the V and O are together, and then there's a space.
It looks like 2 words.
It looks terrible.
Yeah, no, not a fan at all.
Genuinely terrible.
Haven't heard anyone that likes them, and not for nothing, they're selling for $400.
Yeah, you know. I'm not. There's no way I'm ever buying one of those.
Fanatics gotta go, man. Yeah, they just got here.
Yeah, $400 for a jersey. You're smoking crack, dude.
You know how long that deal was for them to do the jerseys?
No.
Is it like real long?
No, I don't know.
Oh man, I hope it's a $5. If
I
it's
hope
a 10,
it's not even that.
Oh man, yeah, but they usually are, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Because if it's 10, that's a shame.
Yeah, that would be bad.
Man, they gotta fix that and quick because jerseys are so important. They are literally what you see.
It's your branding
the whole time. Yeah. So if they're looking that ugly on the back, not a good look.
Yeah, I agree.
The last thing we'll talk about here, which I'm a big fan of, the Kansas City Royals are getting a new stadium, and man, those concept pictures look gorgeous.
Yeah, I've seen for them and the White Sox, they've both had concepts for a new stadium.
AL Central getting freshened up.
Yeah, so I mean, I feel like I like how in the pictures the Royals are keeping their fountain. I like that.
Did you see any concept art for the White Sox?
I saw a little bit.
Did they have the colored pinwheels?
I don't think so.
If you lose
maybe they did. I don't know.
You can't lose the colored pinwheels.
I don't recall looking for the pinwheels specifically, but I'm sure we could look it up and see. But.
Huge fan of the Kansas City pictures, though.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, anytime they get a new stadium, it's always going to look nice because it's new, and it's probably going to cost them well over $1 billion to make that building, so it better look nice. But yeah, the Royals one I really liked. The White Sox one, it's definitely an upgrade over what they got right now.
Yeah, I mean, I was like 10 years old when I was 9 years old when Citi Field was opened, but I could already remember how excited it was going to the new stadium.
Definitely.
It's congratulations to the Kansas City Royals fans and the Chicago White Sox fans. You're getting new digs. Thank you to everybody for listening wherever you do. This was episode 78 of the 9 Frames podcast. It is Monday, February 19th, 2024. I have been Bill Whalen.
And I've been Mike Whalen.
Be sure to catch us, as always, on YouTube at 9 Frames Podcast. Our Spotify is 9 Frames. Our X is at 9 Frames Pod. Please follow us on there. Subscribe, like, comment, and share if you enjoy the show.
Yeah, we appreciate it as always, and we had a very busy week. We probably could have got away with doing one on Friday and split this up in half, but it is what it is. It's a lot of good news, a lot of signings, which is what we've been waiting for. And I mean, with spring training starting this weekend, and then opening day just being for the Mets 5 weeks away from Thursday. I mean, we're getting there, dude.
Yeah, it's been really great, really exciting seeing all of the players showing up in those new hideous jerseys.
Awful.
And playing some ball, man. Seeing some batting practice. I got some friends down at spring training, having a good time, and honestly, it looks beautiful.
Yeah, looks like it's gonna. I mean, baseball season's always the best for me and you. It's always been like that. So this is the most exciting time of the year when guys start to get back on the field and we get closer and closer to opening day.
Nothing better than opening day. We're all 0-0.
Should be a national holiday. I still think. I think everybody should have off.
Yeah, that would be something. But
people should have off for it.
Yeah, I mean, such an exciting day, and I mean, if your club hasn't had a good off season, then you got to be hyped.